meaning I don't want to leave. I love it here. I read an interesting, hey, welcome YouTube. You caught me right when I drank some water and coughed. I read an interesting essay on wealth versus money the other day by Paul Graham. And I've been thinking about it a bit. And I think his point was wealth is different than having a bunch of money. Wealth is like being able to live where you want to live and, you know, do the things you want to do, have freedom. And for me right now, I want to live here in the Okanagan and keep doing the things I'm doing. I really like building the things I'm building. I'm really excited about the new Marketing for Developers course that's launching right away. So yeah, I'd like to stay here as long as I can. All right, so welcome everybody to my first Ask Me Anything. Hopefully audio is okay. Let me know if it's not. I apologize, the lighting is a little bit washed out, but this is probably the best I'm gonna be able to do. Thank you, Reed, glad you like the new camera. The light is a little bit yellow today, and so I need to maybe fix that. I usually just use the natural light coming in, but if it's not overcast today, it's sunny, you get this yellow light coming in. All right, so if you guys will allow me to get situated here. So I got so many questions. These are all the questions I got. I sent out an email from my list, and these are the questions I have. There's a lot, and I have about an hour. If you have more questions, feel free to put them in Facebook Live or YouTube, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get to all of them. It's going to be tricky, but I'll do the best I can. And I'll do the best to have two screens, YouTube and Facebook. So I'm going to start with a question that has nothing to do with marketing for developers, marketing software as a service, marketing apps, building online products, courses. I got this great question from, who was this? It was the last one. I'm going to start with it because I just thought it was such a great question. Joe C. Joe C asks, how would you market a food cart cafe in a small city? We sell high quality coffee and many teas. And I love this question because I think it gets at the root of things I've been thinking about lately, which is basically jobs to be done. If you've been listening to me lately, you know I've spent a lot of time talking about this framework, which basically seeks to understand, why do people buy? What motivates someone to take out their wallet, take out their credit card, and pay you for something, whether that's coffee and tea or things like software and apps and you know, digital products. And I know most of you want to sell digital products. That's what I make and sell. But this question gets at the root of, why do people buy things? Because there's some kind of commonalities no matter what you sell. So this is my advice to Joe C, and I'm going to share my screen for this one. But for those of you on Facebook Live, you can just listen to what I'm saying and picture it as well. So let's, should we go entire screen? That might be dangerous, eh? Here we go. We'll go right here. So this is what I would do, Joe. I would go to Tumblr, and I would just start by searching coffee. And I'm not sharing my screen now, am I? Oh yeah, I am, perfect. So just scroll through what you see people posting for coffee. And for those of you that can't see my screen, there are some commonalities. Like there's photos of two people enjoying a coffee together. There's a camera. They're often very stylized. Coffee next to waffles covered in fruit. it all looks very romantic. And oh, look at this picture here. This one here, I'll blow this one up, is a photo of two people enjoying a coffee. Both of the cappuccinos have hearts in them. And the whole idea behind Jobs to be Done is that people don't just buy a product for its functional utility. You don't just buy coffee for caffeinated liquid. That's part of it. But a big part of coffee is this image in our mind of how we would like our life to be. And so if you have a coffee cart, you're not just selling people, the functional, like, here's a tea with these features. You're selling them an experience. You're selling them a certain kind of lifestyle that they want to have. You're selling them a feeling. It's a feeling. And the sooner you can understand this, no matter what you're marketing, oh, now I just switched to GIFs, the better you'll understand how you can market anything. People don't just buy a product, they hire products to help them overcome a struggle and make progress in their lives and get to this dream that they have in their head of a better life. And I love coffee because it's a great example of this kind of picture that people form in their minds when they're thinking of going to a coffee shop. Now, Joe, I helped my friend Andrew McWilliam launch his own coffee cart called Ratio. And here are some of the things he did. He took pictures of regulars smiling, holding up coffees. Here's another one here of someone playing guitar. Here's another one of a group of us hanging out outside by the coffee cart. And these pictures are painting an idea, a dream of a certain kind of life. Community, people socializing, kind of like Cheers, the bar where everybody knows your name, people engaging in conversation, people making new friendships. So Andrew, with his coffee cart, didn't always just show the coffee cart when he was posting on Instagram. By the way, as a channel, Instagram would be great for a coffee cart. He posted photos of people enjoying the coffee. My friend Alex Hillman, who runs a co-working space, always says, don't take a picture of an empty office. If you're trying to sell co-working, take a picture of people engaging and hanging out and working together. You're not selling a desk, you're selling this idea of community, of belonging, of romance, of a certain kind of lifestyle. And so that is how I would market a coffee cart. I would use Instagram, and I would take photos of people engaging in community. I would highlight star customers, make them feel like they are the VIPs of the coffee cart. And all of those things I just described also work for software as a service. So, or digital products or software. For example, if we go to ConvertKit, and if we go to With Coach, I'm not sure if I'm still on the homepage here, but the idea of highlighting your VIPs, here ConvertKit is highlighting Maria. Here they're highlighting all of the people that use the product. Make the customer the star. Oh, this is just my dashboard, but you get the idea. So those are some things you can do, and I better get back to some more questions, right? Okay, so Chris Gallo asks, how do you know if you've found your audience? For me, it was a couple of things. Number one, I had tried just blogging and talking to everybody. So I wrote about urban design. I wrote about being a Canadian and living in Canada. I wrote about being an office worker. I wrote about being a dad. But it wasn't until I started writing about building and launching products that I felt like I got a good response, basically. So part of it was trying a bunch of different things and then feeling like, whoa, this stuff I'm writing about building and launching products is really resonating. I'm going to double down on this. The other thing is that I had tried a bunch of different audiences, and I found that I really liked product people. I knew things about being a product person. I had been a product manager for a number of years. I'd helped build and launch products. I'd helped grow revenue. So I had something to say. I had some expertise. And the other thing was that it was an audience that bought things. These are professionals that are either working for software companies or are looking to build and launch their own products. And so those, I listed 4 things, right? I got traction, and I decided to double down on the audience and the topic that was resonating. It was a group that I liked, that I understood, and that I had expertise in. It was a group that was, reachable online. That was the other thing. They congregated in communities like Hacker News and Product Hunt, so I could reach them easily. Urban design folks was a little bit more challenging, and dads, like finding dads online, I just didn't know where to start. And so product people made more sense. And lastly, that they bought things. So that's how I knew that product people was an audience that I wanted to focus on. And I've even niched down further with Marketing for Developers, this course that's coming out on October 15th. I decided within product people, I decided to focus on software developers. And mostly that was from polling my audience and finding that the majority of people following my work were software developers. All right, so lots of questions about audience here. And I see questions in YouTube and on Facebook. By the way, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, if you could hit the thumbs up, it really helps other people find this stream, and that'd be great. So I will get to those questions. I'm going to try to get through all these questions first. Alexander Fail asks, I have problems reaching my audience. I developed an app for private music teachers, but at least here in Germany, I can't find places to reach these folks beside the usual Facebook groups, which wasn't very effective. There are no conferences or meetings for music teachers. Do you have any tips? What can I do to reach this group? Okay. So in some ways, this relates to what I just said. When you're choosing an audience, it's going to be easier to reach people that congregate in places. So like I said, product people and software developers congregate on Hacker News. They also have lots of conferences and meetups. They're easy to find in groups. There are other folks like real estate agents, for example, have huge conferences that you can go to and meet a bunch of people all at once. So one of the things you should consider when you're choosing your audience is how easy are they to find? If they're hard to find, that's one mark against, against pursuing that audience. For Alexander specifically, one, I would ask if you have any customers currently, if you have any folks that are already using your app or using your product, ask them for a referral. Say, do you know any other music teachers that would benefit from this app? Could you give me their names? Could you give me their email addresses? Or could you just introduce me to them? Asking for referrals is one of the best ways, especially when you're getting started, when you're getting your first 100 or your first 1,000 customers. It's one of the best ways to get more customers. You double down on what's already working. If these folks have already bought your product, they likely know other people like them that can buy a product, that could buy your product. So ask them for a referral. Don't be scared to ask. And yeah, that would be the one tactic I would use. So I hope that helps, Alexander. Matt Medeiros asks, okay, this is good, kind of in-depth question. What's your formula for presenting the value of a product to a given customer avatar? Like benefit to features to story, funnel to sale. And I asked him to clarify in the email. And I said, are you thinking about like presenting the benefits, features, and story on a landing page, and then getting leads, and then having those leads convert into sales? So he's saying, yeah, for a specific sales cycle or target audience. And then he kind of gets into his specific pain point, which is interesting. He says, I find that to get all of that stuff in a single message on a landing page is difficult. So he says he gets caught up with creating landing pages that are too general. How can he like focus specifically on a given audience and say, here's your struggle, here's the benefits, here's the features, and then how do I get them into some sort of sales funnel? Okay, I don't know if I can get this camera to behave here. So this is what I would do. Every landing page should communicate within the first 10 seconds who this is for, what their biggest struggle is, what their dream of a better life looks like, how you solve that problem, and what their first step is. Okay, so I'm going to repeat that again. Every landing page should communicate who this is for, what their biggest struggle is, what their dream of a better life looks like, how you solve that struggle, how you make their life better, how you help them make progress, how you make them more awesome at the thing they want to be more awesome at, and their first step. Here's the mistake I see people making. They focus entirely on features. And so you end up getting these little bullet points like this, a grid of a bunch of things. And by the way, there's a service I really like for solopreneurs called withcoach.com. If you go to withcoach.com/Justin, they will take care of you. They'll help onboard you. But I actually don't like their landing page right now because it's too focused on features. I think it's too easy to skip the actual benefit to the end user. It has to be loud and in your face. So with Coach, I would say the all-in-one tool for solopreneurs who want to make an independent living from the things they create. That would be just one idea off the top of my head. A really strong headline that says who this is for, solopreneurs, what their biggest struggle is, either too many tools or not making an independent living yet, how you help them, you put all of the tools together in one place, and what their first step is. In Coach's case, it's just sign up for a free trial, right? You need to give them one action. Another mistake I see people make is that the one action, the one call to action on the page is too big of a jump. It's like you're out on a date and you've just been on your first date and then you immediately ask the person to marry you. It's just too big of a jump. You need a series of dates, hopefully, before you propose. And the same is true with products. And so sometimes you've introduced, this is for you, this is your big pain point, I understand where you want to go, I understand your dream for a better life, here's how I solve it, but then you're jumping immediately to sign up for my app, and you need a few more dates, a few more interactions before they sign up for the app. And so one thing I've been recommending lately is sign up for a free email course that helps you get better at this thing I just talked about. So struggling as a solopreneur to get started, take our 5 email course on the first 5 steps you need to do to get started, or something like that. And you can get creative with this too. A lot of you folks are here because you're on my SMS list, my text messaging list. And your one call to action could be, join my text messaging list and ask me anything. But the idea is that you need a series of interactions before you ask the customer to buy. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody, for being patient here. I've still got lots of questions to go through. So thank you, Yaniv in Facebook, for those kind words. That's really nice. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're here. It just helps me feel cared for. All right. Marcus Clearspring asks, what do you do when your audience needs to do something to succeed, but don't want to hear about it, let alone do it? What approach do you take to convince them it's in their best interest? I freaking love this question. Oh, man. So sometimes we have insight about what's good for people, or we think we have insight about what's good for people. If only they knew this, then I could get them to do this. Here's an example. I think there's a company here in the Okanagan that makes biodegradable bamboo utensils. And part of their thinking is, if only I could show people how bad plastic utensils are for the environment, then I could get them to buy bamboo utensils. Here's the problem. If you really have to educate people that they have a problem in the first place, you might end up spending 90% of your energy just trying to show them they have a problem, and then you're going to spend all your energy there. It's very likely you won't convince people even that they have a problem, and then you have to spend a bunch more energy trying to convert them to your solution. I hate to say this, but it's just too much work. The key with marketing and sales is you really have to target people already in motion. You can't swim against the flow. Whoa, I almost wrecked my whole setup here. You can't swim upstream. And so if everybody is already in motion this way, like if everybody just buys plastic utensils and they don't give a shit about the environment, it's going to be really hard to make them give a shit. It's just you're gonna spend all your time. That's what an activist does. An activist, and I think it's amazing, but an activist's full-time job is to kind of raise a flag and say, hey, we've got a big problem here. You guys need to be aware. You guys need to pay attention. But in marketing and sales and building products, unless you're targeting people already in motion, it's going to be really difficult to succeed. Now, I know a lot of you are thinking, but what about, Airbnb? And people didn't know they needed Airbnb until Airbnb showed them they needed Airbnb. But that's not true. People were already renting hotel rooms. People were already going to hostels. People were already going to individual websites and renting condos as vacation rentals. There's this big group of people looking for vacation accommodation. They're already in motion. And then Airbnb was able to sell them the solution. Now, again, we're going to go back to job to be done. So if I was that bamboo utensil company, I would figure out in what way, what is progress for my audience? Who is my audience, first of all? Like if it's just people that can't afford bamboo utensils or don't care about bamboo utensils, forget about those folks. But maybe there is a section of your audience that really cares about that stuff. Okay, why do they care? And with eco solutions, like with solar panels and bamboo utensils and clean energy and Tesla and all that stuff, a big job to be done, listen to this, the job they're hiring these things to do is they want to show off to their friends. It's deep down, they might not want to admit it, but go ahead and that there's like this meme, of that hippie vegan, environmentalist that just can't stop talking about environmentalism. Part of the job to be done is they want to share it with their friends. They want to share that they just got solar energy and that they've reduced their electricity bill to nothing. So optimize for what they're really hiring your product to do, the emotional benefits. My friend Pearl is on Facebook right now, and she has a brew pub and a restaurant called The Naked Pig and Martin Brewing. And another thing that they do really well is they show pictures of people having a good time in the brew pub. They show people drinking microbrewed beer, right? Those are the kinds of things you want to create, this emotional picture of why are people there. They're there for friendship. They're there to, laugh with their friends. They're there to drink a new beer that's unique and then tell their friends about it the next day at the office. That's what they're hiring the product to do. Does that make sense? All right. Again, thanks for the folks on Facebook. Really great to have you here. And for all the folks watching on YouTube, you're going to be able to watch these later, by the way, megamaker.co/live. And all of these topics that I'm talking about are going to be in my new course in comprehensive detail. So devmarketing.xy. What do you guys say in America? XYZ? No, that's Canadian. XYZ. Devmarketing.xyz. Even if you're not a software developer, I've had lots of people that weren't software developers that took the course and loved it. All right, Brendan Hufford asks, by the way, search Brendan Hufford online, and I don't know what his Snapchat and Instagram is, but I really like Brendan's stuff lately. He works a full-time job and he's hustling on the side, and I love it. He's offering a new service to wedding photographers, I think. Wedding photographers. First of all, I love this. He has said, this is my audience, it's wedding photographers. Do wedding photographers pay for things? Hell yeah, they do. They buy a lot of photography equipment. They pay for advertising. They pay for courses to learn, new skills. So great group to focus on. And he's basically wondering, how can he get his first clients? He wants to offer search engine optimization, copywriting, link outreach for wedding photographers. How do you get your first clients? One thing that he's doing right already is that he's doing some case studies. So he is offering these services to some wedding photographers he knows, and he's going to create some social proof. You guys know what social proof is? It's where you say, here's some people that have really helped. And they have a quote that says, Brendan helped me increase the number of leads I was getting from 10 to 100 per month, right? That's social proof. So first of all, that's great. Create some case studies from people and customers that have used your service and got good results from it. Those are, that's great marketing. Another thing you would want to do is have some social proof from influencers. So if you know an amazing wedding photographer that has a huge following online, and they're a friend of yours or you have a network with them, get them to say, you should trust Brendan. I heard some political commentators say, politics is simple. It's, do I know you? Do I like you? And do I trust you? And the same is true for a lot of products, especially something like a service, or if you're teaching something, it's very much based on your reputation. Do I know you? Do I like you? And do I trust you? And those are the things you're going to need to prove to potential customers. Now, for Brendan specifically, I'm going to go back to my referral tip and say, these folks that you're doing case studies for, if they're happy with the results they're getting, say, hey, if this was helpful for you, do you know other photographers that would benefit from this service? And get them to write an introduction email for you. Nobody wants to do that because it's a little bit uncomfortable. Now, here's a little secret with all of this stuff. Okay, so lean in close. Here's a little secret. If you're uncomfortable, that probably means you should be doing it. When we're uncomfortable, that's when we grow. When we do things that are not natural or don't feel good, that's when we're exercising those muscles and actually improving. And if you don't want to, for example, interview your customers, if you're holding back, and I've been like that too, if you're holding back, that's probably the first thing you should be doing. So ask for referrals. The other thing for Brendan is to do an online workshop like this. See if you can get people to pay something, $20, $100, $500 for an online workshop on a Saturday. And then as a follow-up, in the follow-up email, use something like With Coach to have them book a coaching call with you. So for people that want me to hire me for consulting, I always say book a coaching call with me first. I say go to justinjackson.withcoach.com, and there's a button there that allows them to book an hour of my time for, I think it's $200, and it goes right into my calendar. And I've had a handful of people that call me, every month or two, and I do coaching calls with them. And sometimes those can lead to bigger consulting arrangements. So that's one idea, is to start small, do a workshop, prove that people will pay for what you're offering. And then in the follow-up email sequence, I would have an automated email drip sequence after the workshop to say, hey, did you enjoy that? Ba, 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 ba. And if you want more of my individual attention, you can book a coaching call with me here. Go to justinjackson.withcoach.com. Okay? Hopefully that's helpful. Holy moly, it's been 30 minutes already. All right. Steve Hamilton asks, can you use jobs to be done to gauge viability for products that you haven't built yet? Yes, because it is observing a real struggle with a specific group of people. And when you're observing that group of people, one of the questions you want to ask them and observe is, what are they using right now to solve this problem? So let's say you wanted to build, something for people, salespeople, and you talk to salespeople, you listen to salespeople, how do you track leads, etc. And you might even go visit some sales offices and look at what they have open on their screens. And maybe you say, whoa, they're all using Excel. Well, that's a good sign, because Excel costs like $200 or something, or it's a monthly subscription now, I think. So they're already paying to solve that problem. They're already paying to money to help them track leads. And if you can offer something that helps them to do that better, if there's struggles they're having with Excel, like maybe Excel doesn't have enough automated follow-up sequences, okay, well, you can build that into your product and have a pretty good, there's a pretty good bet that people will pay for that. What else do I want to say here? And you also can observe what their picture of a better life looks like. So what does a picture of a better life look like for a salesperson? Well, they're doing $1 million in sales a year right now, and they want to get to 5 million, right? So how does your solution help them overcome the struggles and make progress to getting to $5 million in sales? Then you can focus on that. And you can prove this without writing any code. You just create a landing page that says, struggling tracking leads in Excel, I'll help you get from $1 million in sales a year to $5 million in sales a year. Subscribe to my email course that shows you how. So without writing any code, you can get a sense of, have I hit a nerve here? How many people sign up? How hard is it to get people to sign up? And at the end of that course, you can say, any of you interested in doing a paid coaching call with me? you start tiny. You kind of work your way up to building something complicated like software. Start with coaching calls and workshops and ebooks. Maybe you sell your Excel sheet to start. You've got a killer Excel sheet and you sell it for $25, $49 as a download. That's where I would get started. Steve Hambleton. He asks also, if you were going to build a broad use product like Trello, what kind of customer would you target first? Well, who did Trello target first? It was all Stack Overflow customers, software developers, software teams. So they started with a niche that they understood and they grew from there. Who did FreshBooks start with? Right now FreshBooks is for everybody, but when they started, they were specifically focused on web designers and design freelancers. They started small and they worked their way out. Is this okay, guys? You getting something out of this? Thumbs up or heart in Facebook, thumbs up on YouTube. Let me know if I'm talking too fast. Andrew McWilliams in the chat, and he gave me an espresso this morning that's just got me rocking. Joseph Blalock asks, I would love to know about finding an audience from scratch, building your list with no prior audience, and turning that into a pre-launch. Okay, I'm going to say, this is kind of a cop-out, but those are all topics that I cover in Marketing for Developers. So devmarketing.xyz. The course is going to be $299 when it launches, but if you sign up for that list, you get the waiting list, you get $50 off. So if you want to know those things, go there. If you're a brand new maker and you can't quite afford that price yet, go to productpeople.club. I'm still accepting a few new members, and I have a free course that I give to new members called the Freedom Ladder that goes through all three of those. All right, let's keep going here. I'm going to get back to Effie's question in a bit. Dylan Raphael asks, how do I decide which idea to go with? I have two ideas and I can't decide which one. Great question. How many of you put up your hand on Facebook or on YouTube? I don't know how you're going to do that, but put up your hand if you've ever had to choose between two ideas. You've got two ideas for something you want to build or do, and you have to choose which one. Put up your hand if that's true. Give me a thumbs up or a heart or something, and I'll answer that right after I sip out of this sippy cup for adults. All right, we got people putting up their hands, lots of hands. I see them. All right, here's what you do. You ask yourself these questions, and these are the same questions I asked Dylan. Number one, are these for different audiences? Don't think about the idea, think about the people, okay? So don't think of it in terms of ideas, think about it in terms of people. Chances are you've already skipped too many steps if you're considering two ideas. All right, so start with people, go to them and observe and listen, find the real struggle in their life, find where they really want to get to, and then base your idea on that. And if you haven't done that, go back a bunch of steps, start with people. Who's the audience? Then I ask, which audience has better marketing channels? Which is easier to reach? Which audience pays for things? Which audience are you more excited about? Do you understand better? Do you have an existing network for? Folks, business is a competition. Like my buddy Andrew started a coffee shop. I don't know shit about coffee. And so if Andrew and I both start a coffee shop on the same block, he's going to kick my ass every time because he understands coffee. He has a network of suppliers and, he knows people. He knows baristas he can hire. He's just got a built-in advantage. I'm never going to catch up to him because he already knows that audience. So start with a group you understand. Start with a group that you have the best possible chances of succeeding with. Now, if you do have two ideas for the same audience, I would test it. Put a landing page for one where you communicate who this is for, what their struggle is, where they want to go, and what you're offering. Put them both out and see, ask yourself these questions. How hard was it to get traffic for this one and this one? How hard was it to get people to convert to something simple like an email course? What were the kind of interactions with the customers? Which idea do people seem to be more willing to pay for? All right. So test things out before you build anything. And like I said, start small and start with people. Okay, I'm going to answer Reed's. I'm going to break with convention and answer Reed's question on YouTube, partly because I really like Reed. He just joined the Product People Club. He's just awesome in Slack. We hang out all day. He says, what if I want to target an audience that I'm not an expert in, but I like the people and I want to serve them? How would I approach this? You know, again, if you're really passionate, so let's say you want to serve lawyers and you just love lawyers so much, like you just love hanging out with them, you love being with them, you love spending time with them, you would be okay to answer their emails and phone calls every single day for the rest of your life. If that's true, then look for places where you have expertise and they don't, and opportunities where they have struggle that your expertise could help them with. So as an example, I am not a software developer, but my most successful product is Marketing for Developers. Over 2,500 people read the book. And so I'm focused on software developers, partly because they're within my sphere of product people building and launching digital products. But I've worked with software developers my whole career. I enjoy hanging out with them. Like I run Geek Beers here in Vernon every month, and I just love hanging out with engineers and technical people. As a product manager, I was in cooperation with them all the time. And so even though I'm not a software developer, I gained an understanding of something they struggled with, and I had expertise in product development and marketing that I could help them with. So that is a question. That is an answer for Reed. If all of those things are true, then go for it. Because the other thing is that a lot of software developers don't like marketing. And so for me to come along and say, I know you don't like marketing, but I really get you. I understand you. And here's a way to do marketing in a non-sleazy way. That resonates, right? So again, maybe you can find in your target group, Reed, a struggle that they're having that you are uniquely positioned to serve. I'm going to answer Iron Girl's question here too. How do you find a business partner? I need an extroverted outside person who I can trust and knows how to execute. Any suggestions? By the way, I've got an hour scheduled, but I'll go all morning if I have to. Well, not all morning, until lunch. So I'll go for another hour and 15 minutes. And this will be recorded later, megamaker.co/live. Finding a business partner. So I've partnered with my friend Marty Dill, and we've built two things together. We built networkeffects.me. If you're on my SMS list, that's the service I use. And we built a service called Remote Workers Club. And I found Marty through Geek Beers, the local meetup I run here. And I knew that I could trust him because we hung out all the time. And we did a few small projects together, and we just seemed to like working with each other. We didn't just like do meetups together either. We were on a volleyball team together, so we had fun together. We had him and his wife over for New Year's. So for me, it was just building a relationship with someone over time. In terms of someone I've never met in person, Carl Alexander is someone I built a product with, and now he runs it all by himself. It's productpress.me, and I met Carl through Product People Club. And again, just by sharing life, spending time, doing little projects together first, and then building up to something bigger. Those are the things I've used. Hopefully that's helpful, Iron Girl. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm gonna mess up this name because I'm not good with German names. I think it's Jochen Metzger. Jochen's been on my mailing list for a long time. Really enjoy the conversations we have. And he asked if I've taken the Kolbe A index. So I'm gonna share my screen again here. How do I do that? I'm gonna show you the results. This is a personality test that that you can take. There's a lot of these kinds of things, but I thought it might be interesting to show mine. On Facebook, I'll just describe it, what I'm seeing here. Whoa. This is something that my friend Bob recommended I take a long time ago, and I still use it to this day. So basically, I don't have time to really kind of go through the results, but my highest score, there's 4 dimensions: fact finder over here, gathers and shares information; follow through, which is arranges and designs; quick start, deals with risk and uncertainty; and implementer, handles space and tangibles. My biggest score is quick start. I'm a number 9. And basically that means I like to start projects. If you guys know me, you know that I really like starting projects. And I like to kind of innovate quickly. I like to go from, idea to testing something really fast. I'm not good at systems. I'm not good at maintaining complex things. I really like to gather and share information. That's one reason I've focused on teaching so much. I'm good with envisioning a solution, but I'm not good with like doing restorative work or protecting things. I'm really kind of like move fast and break things kind of person. If you look at where I spend my energy, where's that one? It's a really interesting test, Kolbe.com. So, for example, it says, do see solutions in your mind, visualize possibilities, conceptualize what could be, have discussions without having to be face-to-face, make decisions without having tangible evidence, don't take responsibility for maintaining equipment, demonstrate the use of mechanical things, don't take apart small appliances, fix broken parts, or build many physical models. Now, if you guys know me, or you know my wife and I, you know that my wife in our house is the one who fixes and maintains things. I went to Home Depot with her the other day, and the salesperson was talking to me about tools, typical sexist, like talk to the dude. And I'm like, I have not bought any power tools in my life. My wife has spent like $5,000 with you guys in the past 5 years. Talk to her. She's the one that buys tools and builds things and operates the power saw. So how is that information helpful? Well, I'm going to answer the next question now. Vishal Kumar. I met Vishal at MicroConf. I'm going to be speaking there again in April, microconf.com. Why are you so focused on books and courses? Why not build a bootstrap B2B SaaS product that you can scale over time? Will that be a bad idea? Does not interest you? Is the SaaS dream lost, etc.? Now, given what you know about my strengths, I think some of it's clear. I love doing this. I love figuring things out. I love going out and doing research and figuring out steps and then communicating to people what I learned. So here's an experiment I did, and here's what I learned. Here's something that worked for me. Here's how you can apply it. I love doing that kind of thing. And books and courses allow me to do that. I can go from, whoa, here's a real struggle. Here's what people are dreaming, right to implementation right away. So I can get in front of a camera and, right after I've learned something and say, this is what I just learned. Isn't it amazing? and then have people, take my course or read my books or read my blog or listen to my podcast or join me every week for this show and get benefit from it. I love that stuff. This is why I've typically done well in product management. It's why I've done well with marketing and sales. That's just kind of who I am. And it's why I need to partner with folks like my wife, first of all, who's really good at building and maintaining, fixing mechanical things. That's Marty, my buddy too. He's good at software development. He's really good at it. So that's why I've focused on those things. And we are building a SaaS. But the other thing about going independent, in January, I started, I stopped consulting in November. December, I was like cleaning up stuff. January, I started building and launching my own products. And for me, it was the thing that generated the most revenue. And I need to feed my kids. And so I didn't want to take a huge risk with SaaS and just put all my eggs in that basket. And Marty and I continued to develop both those projects. And eventually, we might hit product market fit with network effects. We have paying customers right now. If that it's a very slow growth with SaaS. And if that grows to the point where it's doing $20,000 or $30,000 a month in sales, then we might both quit what we're doing and focus exclusively on that. But for now, I'm focused on books and courses because it's what people want to pay for. And it's also, I love doing it. And it kind of works with my strengths. Yes, the Kolbe test is $50. No, I can't fix your toaster. Okay, I'm going to try to answer Colin's question because I haven't done a question on Facebook yet. I've been reading your newsletter for the past few weeks. I really enjoy your insights. With regard to an established product on the market, competitor, what is your advice for developing, launching, differentiating a similar product? Okay, I got a really good one for this. There is a quiz, sorry, not a quiz. It's a survey you can do called the Net Promoter Score. Okay, so it's called NPS for short. And look it up. You can create one using typeform.com, and you can use these on your competitors. So when I was doing consulting in the project management space, I did a Net Promoter Score, which basically asks the question, how likely are you to recommend this product to a friend? And so what I did is I created this survey and I said, hey, I'm doing some research on Trello users. If you are a Trello user or you know someone who is, could you please answer this quick survey? And what I basically tried to figure out is how satisfied are people with their existing solution? What gaps are there? Where are they unsatisfied? What do they still struggle with? How are they not making progress? And then I wrote all those down, and then we tried to incorporate those things into our product. So you can do these research projects on your competitors, and like I said before, it's a little bit uncomfortable, but when you're uncomfortable, that's when you actually make progress. And the insights you'll get from talking to people who currently use those products are invaluable. So Net Promoter Score plus Typeform plus spread the word and say, hey, I'm doing research on people who use this product. I'm not selling anything. I'm just gathering information. That is the key. Okay. Jason Keys on Facebook asked me this, and this was actually another question I got too. So for marketers who need developers, this kind of goes back to what I said before. You need to start hanging out with developers. So go to local meetups, join forums where developers hang out. Don't just barge in and say, I'm looking for a developer, because that's what everyone does. You need to go in and legitimately build a relationship. And that's going to take time. And as people start to answer those same questions, do I know you? Do I like you? And do I trust you? Once they've answered those questions, then you can engage with folks and say, hey, we ran that meetup together, or hey, we worked on that one event together. That was kind of nice. Maybe we should partner on a project like this. So that is, that's my advice if you're looking for a partner. Okay, I'm gonna take a little break here, and I wanna answer Effie's question. She says, I bought the Marketing for Developers book. Thank you for doing that. I would like to ask you, how is this book different from the previous one? First of all, it's not a book. I'm launching a course, and here's why. The book did very well. It had 2,500 people read it, but my goal wasn't just to get a bunch of people reading a book. My goal was to change people's lives. I didn't want them to just engage with the content or download it and put it on their digital bookshelf. I wanted their life to get better. I wanted them to go from no idea, no audience, and no revenue to getting their first 100 or 1,000 customers. And so Marketing for Developers isn't just about, here's 5 marketing tactics you can use. It takes you through the whole product development process. How do you find an audience? How do you earn trust with that audience? How do you get them to sign up for a mailing list and build a relationship over time? How do you discover what they're really struggling with? To technical things like how do you use the Lean Marketing Stack, which is a series of tools I use for analytics. And how do you build it and get traction with your first 100 customers? That's my dream for people that, engaged with the book. And what I found is that the people who bought the video package got the most out of it. I also found that there were certain topics in the book where I could show a screenshot where I was like, man, I wish I could just jump in the book and then show them live how to do these things. Whether it was setting up Google Analytics or doing an A/B test, setting up Facebook ads. Stuff like that translates better to video than just reading it as a book. And here, I'll give you guys a sneak peek right now. Here's a little sneak peek of what the course looks like. I'm building it on Coach. Nope, that's not it. Where is it? Here we go. So this is what the course looks like. You can get a sneak peek if you're on Facebook by going to devmarketing.xyz. I have a little video there, but this is what it looks like. You've got an introduction. You can download the books as a reference point. It also has, this is something else I couldn't do before. It has these interactive worksheets. So you can go here and answer these questions, right, for each of the lessons. And then you can share those with me as your instructor. You can save them. You can export them as a PDF. So you get to do that with each lesson, really track your progress. I've got downloadable worksheets as well that you can use. I go into things like jobs to be done, really understanding jobs to be done, how to target people's pain, the Lean Marketing Stack, so setting up Google Analytics. If you've ever tried to set up a funnel in Google Analytics and actually getting good information about who's visiting my site, how many people paid me and how much did they pay, I cover all of that in here. What to do before you launch, how to amplify your launch, the launch checklist, so a PDF download of things you should do before you launch, using Facebook ads, A/B testing, asking for the sale, and then all of these interview videos where I talk to people like Brennan Dunn, Des Traynor, Tracy Osborne about how they market to their customers. So, and I'm adding, I think I've added something like 8, 10, it might end up being 15 new videos to the course. The other thing I was able to do is take all this new learning I've had in the past year and teach people about it. So that's the difference between the book and the course. I would really love for you to buy it. Anyone who bought the book or the course in the past will get a discount, so you'll be able to upgrade. And it's going to be online forever. You can go back to it whenever you need to. And as you make progress, you can go, okay, I've done this step. Now I'll go back and, okay, now I'll do this step here. All right. I totally lost my YouTube stuff. Here we go. Sippy cup break. I'm going to keep going for a little while longer. Where am I now? Nicole asks, regarding building your own product, how do you build something that has plenty of other competitor options? Okay, I already told you, I already answered that one. So that's great. Where am I? Okay. Here's one. I'll show you the screen for this. This is Stefan Gasser, and he asks, should I have a landing page, like a marketing page for my service, hotelforconf.com? Hotelforconf.com. So I'll show you my screen here. This is hotelforconf.com, and basically it's an app that allows you to find a hotel near your conference venue. And I guess it depends on your goals. The nice thing about this is that it gives you immediate utility, so people know right away who this is for, what the big struggle is, and then you solve that pain. I think the bigger question for you is how you're making money. And so if this is just a fun side project, I think you've nailed it. One thing you could ask is if there's anything else people want in order to make progress. So do they want, tips on how to effectively, how to get the most out of a conference? Do they want travel tips for, here's what you should do when you're going to a conference? Here's how you should pack your bag or whatever. But that's the question I would ask is, what's your goal for the page? Why are you doing this? That's what I try to remind myself with whatever project I'm doing. Oh, maybe I could wave a piece of paper. Yeah, the white balance is just off, Mark. That helped a little bit, but Eric H. asks, I'm a marketer. Should I learn programming? Awesome, awesome question. And now actually, if you have questions in Facebook or YouTube, now would be a good time to ask them because I'm nearing the end. And if you have something to ask that you haven't had a chance yet, do it now. Great question. If you're a marketer, should you learn programming? It depends. If you really want to build and launch your own products, maybe. But programming, I know a little bit of programming. Like I can do some basic scripting in JavaScript. I understand HTML and CSS. I understand a little bit of C# code. There's like a few things I understand. I can look at Marty's Ruby on Rails code and I can understand what's going on. I understand what MVC is, Model View Controller, and I can go to different parts. I can edit PHP code. But the difference between Marty and I when it comes to building a web app is night and day. And I would not, at this point in my life, I'm not going to try to teach myself programming so that I can build a web app. Part of that is because I know my skills, I know my strengths, going back to that Colby index. I'm not a engineer kind of guy. That's not me. The most in-depth I get is technical marketing. So I go this deep with engineering because I want to understand how to implement the technical parts of marketing. But I don't want to dedicate years and years of learning and practice so that I could build my own web application. in my case, I'm going to partner with people like Marty to do that. Now, if you do a personality index and it says, man, you're like actually, you've got an engineering mindset, then go for it. Learn programming for sure. And there's different types of programmers, just like there's different types of marketers. My friend Lars Lofgren is way more quantitative than me. I'm much more on the qualitative side. That's why I like things like Jobs to be Done. I have to understand some quantitative things, but in terms of like writing a blog post that could get thousands and thousands of views and having those views convert to email subscribers, I mean, Lars is pretty amazing, but I'm fairly confident I could win that battle. But when it comes to understanding, like doing quantitative, like A/B tests and things like that, Lars is going to kick my ass every time. So know yourself, and then act accordingly. The Kolbe Index is just something we talked about before. It's a personality test. There's a lot of them. Strength Finder is another one that you can use. So Eric, if your goal is to build your own products and you think that you have an engineering mindset, then do it. If you want to learn some programming so that you become a better marketer, a more technical marketer, definitely. And so even though my personality kind of fights against some of those kind of engineering type things, I've forced myself to learn technical marketing because I think it makes me a better marketer. And so I purposefully made myself uncomfortable so I understand those things and I can implement the technical bits. So there's some things that I do program on my own. If you go to justinjackson.ca/jolt, I did all of the HTML and CSS for that. And it's not fancy, but it converted really well. And I like being able to control that. And I think those are the end of my questions. So if you have a question again in Facebook, YouTube, I will end. And looks like we did pretty good, just over an hour. devmarketing.xyz. And again, I said, even if you're not a software developer, I ended up creating a version of Marketing for Developers called Marketing for Product People. And the content was almost exactly the same. I just changed a few examples for non-programmers. But even if you're not a developer, my friend Josh Duty, he bought Marketing for Developers. He's not a developer, and he's been using the tactics for his coaching and for his book, fearlessSalaryNegotiation.com. So even if you're not a developer, devmarketing.xyz, and you'll get a $50 discount when you launch. Okay, whoa, I totally missed the hole in the sippy cup here. All right, so for the Kolbe Index, it is permanent. It doesn't change over time. I've retaken the test and I've stayed almost exactly the same. Chris Enns has tweeted me a link to help me with webcam settings. That will be awesome. How do you find a target group for general internet utility app, bookmarking app like Delicious? It seems like every internet user is my target user. Again, you need to watch people using bookmarking tools, and you need to find out, first of all, if they want anything else. Are they struggling with something? Is there some progress? Like if their current bookmarking tool is helping them make enough progress. So for example, I use Pocket, and it's helping me make enough progress. I don't need another bookmarking tool because I'm happy with the progress that Pocket is delivering me. People don't just switch just because something new is out on the market. People don't have enough time and attention for that. People switch because they are unhappy with where they are at. And so one of the reasons I switched to Pocket is because I was using Instapaper before, and I saw that Pocket could do all these things that Instapaper couldn't. And so I knew there was a gap there, and I said, I want to make progress. Instapaper is no longer delivering me progress in my life. I'm going to switch to Pocket. but now I'm satisfied with Pocket. So in jobs to be done, there's things called forces. There's certain forces that drive us forward towards a purchasing decision and things that draw us back. And one of the things that draws us back is allegiance to the present. Our human brains are lazy, and we don't want to have to be making decisions all the time. So I don't want to get up every morning and say, what bookmarking tool should I use today? I just want to be lazy and use Pocket. I've made that decision. I've moved on. So to answer your question, because I think it's a great question sorry, I'm not going to be able to say your name right. Is it Shravan? Shravan's another awesome person in Product People Club. If you're making a bookmarking tool, observe people using bookmarking tools and see where they're pulling out their hair. Where are they struggling? Is there a certain group of people using a bookmarking tool that are struggling to make progress and their current tool isn't satisfying them? And you know what? I just thought of something. One thing I can't do with Pocket that I wish I could is something that a tool called Icebergs used to do, and something a tool called Keeb, Keeb.com does, is the ability to highlight the web, bookmark it, and have it save as a snippet, and then be able to save a bunch of snippets, and then be able to group them together in common topics and trends. And I use this for customer research. So Shravan, if you're looking to create a competitive advantage, that might be one. That's a real struggle that I have that is not being served by Pocket. And if I had a tool that helped me do that, I would switch, or at the very least, I would use it for that particular job to be done. All right? So there's an idea for you. Maybe there's other people like me. You'd have to test that hypothesis, but go and research Icebergs. Go to Google Justin Jackson customer research and watch that video, and you'll see the tool I used. Okay? All right. By the way, I haven't got any love in Facebook for a while. Some thumbs up and some hearts. That'd be awesome. For folks on YouTube, if you could like it down on the actual thumbs up like thing, that's the one that matters. What's the difference between building an audience to sell products to and building an audience to sell services and consulting? Well, with products, you need a much bigger audience. So what did I figure? I think maybe 10% of my, is it 10%? No, it's got to be more than that. What's, see, I'm bad at math. What's 10% of 12,500? That's about, what is that? I don't know. Shoot. Sorry, guys. I'm really choking on some simple math. My list is 12,500 people. What is, and I've had about 2,500 customers. So that's 5% of my mailing list has bought something from me. So you need a much bigger group if you're selling products. If you're selling consulting and services, you need a smaller list of leads, right? Back when I was doing that kind of work, we had something called a priority prospect list, which was just, okay, here's a list of all my leads ordered by how likely they are to buy my service. And so that list could be 100 or 200 people. And if I converted, 5 to 10 of those people, and depending on what I'm charging, that might be enough. So I would say that's one difference, Samu. But you can use similar tactics though. Like you can create an email course and then have someone go and book a coaching call for you, like I mentioned. So there's definitely some similarities. I think it's just the scale that's different. Kolbe Index is a personality test. It's Kolbe.com. How should a review site look? I'm starting an interview review site, and I don't want it to look like crap, but the site is aimed at I am newbies and I need your UX input. Basically, design matters because there's a certain bar that helps people understand. It's the same thing over and over again. You need enough design so that people know about you, like you, and trust you. No more and no less. That's the bar for design in my books. And so, again, if you go to justinjackson.ca/jolt, that was enough design for people to know who I was and understand what I was offering and trust me. For marketing for developers, I partnered with my friend Hamish, and we built a WordPress theme that you can actually buy as well. And you can see that at devmarketing.xyz. And I tried to increase the quality of design there because I wanted, it's a more expensive product. It's a product that has more value, and I wanted to, put it in a nicer glass display case. So that would be my advice. If you're not a designer, I would probably hire a designer. Marketing for, Megamaker, the Megamaker logo was designed by my friend Keenan Kirk because I knew I couldn't do that myself. So you might want to hire somebody, but in terms of level of design, you're basically just trying to get to the point where they know who you are, they like what they're seeing, and they trust you. Pinboard is not quite there. It's close, but it's not quite there. In terms of what I want to be able to capture snippets, and then I want to be able to, almost like index cards, like put them into groups and then be able to zoom into those groups and get a sense of what's going on. And if you could highlight like a word cloud with some of the common words used in that group, that'd be awesome. Where's Straven? That's what I'm thinking. Simon says, I've noticed that sharing educational content attracts people who want to learn from you, but not necessarily hire you. Is it just me? It takes a bunch of exposures before someone is willing to hire you, because building trust takes time. So the folks who have paid $200 an hour to book a coaching call with me, I looked back through, basically I searched Gmail for each of their names, and our relationship goes back years. Like some of them have been reading my stuff since I started, and I can see, oh, I answered their question here, I helped them here, okay, and then they saw me speak at a conference, and then they were willing to hire me at $200 an hour to for coaching and consulting. So I would say it takes time if you're going to go the educational route. How do you determine when to start charging money? This is from Venny. I love Venny. Venny is doing some amazing work creating communities for programmers, and specifically female programmers. Also a member of the Megamaker Product People Club. Basically, you can start small, right? So for Venny in particular, as you're building this community, you have this great opportunity to listen to people and listen to their struggles and listen to what their dreams and aspirations are. Where do they want to go? And to note those down, to use Straven's new tool to capture those thoughts and form and organize them into trends, and then to respond. And so for Venny, if there is a continued need for women engineers to figure out how to negotiate their salary, you can also see these things kind of pop sometimes, like there's an interest of like, whoa. And there was 2 major events specifically with female engineers I recently saw. One was a Medium post about how she negotiated a $10,000 increase in her salary. And the other was a podcast where a female intern went about asking for a raise. And they're both very interesting. And they both like the public reaction to those was really noticeable. Like, whoa, there's something here. And when that happens, often those kinds of struggles are things that people are willing to pay for. And that's what Josh Duty is doing with Fearless Salary Negotiation.com, I think is his site. So that's one way you can figure out Venny. You might also notice, there's a lot of junior level programmers that want to get to the next level and they're wondering how to get there. People are often willing to pay for things that take away the struggle of getting to the next step. And another way to kind of evaluate opportunities, does it save people time? Does it make them money, or does it save them money? And if you can prove that your product, your tiny product that you're going to start with, saves them time, makes them money, or saves them money, then that's a good place to start. So if you can offer a course on unit tests, how to write good unit tests, and you can offer it for $500, and that's cheaper than going back to university for it, then that's probably a good place to start. All right, I think we're at the end of the questions. Thank you so much, everyone here, for being here. This is really awesome. Really appreciate you guys showing up every week. I have taken other Myers-Briggs tests. People are really interested in the personality test. I have taken Myers-Briggs. I have not taken Strength Finder yet. All right, that's Grain. I really like Kolbe because it doesn't change over time, and it deals with kind of like just how you're built as a person. So I find it more accurate than Myers-Briggs because I found my Myers-Briggs kind of changes over time a little bit, but Kolbe just stays the same. It's awesome to do with your spouse or partner as well, in marriage and in business, so you can see how both of you balance each other out. Anyway, thanks for being here. The Marketing for Developers course launches on October 15th, but I'm offering a $50 off coupon to people that go to devmarketing.xyz and sign up for the waiting list. Those folks will also probably get early access Thursday or Friday. And if you've already bought Marketing for Developers, the book or the video downloads, I'm going to be sending you a special coupon either tomorrow or Friday. All right? Thanks, y'all. I really appreciate you showing up. This is awesome. See you later.